There are 15.8 to 18 million veterans alive today, and many are dying to tell their story to the world but haven't had the opportunity. Today, that opportunity is coming to life. Chris Hibshman will be interviewed for his bravery of joining the military, becoming an E4 specialist, and earning many awards. We will be talking about his journey of being a wolfhound.
Hibshman grew up in Myerstown and graduated from Elko High School.
What primary and secondary schools or college did you attend?
So everything Elko. I went to Jackson Elementary School and then Elko High School.
His dad, Michael Hibshman, served in the military. His mom, Sharon Folk, worked at Bayer. He was born on April 19, 1973 in Lebanon, PA. He enjoyed playing football and he loved driving four-wheelers and motorcycles. Also, Chris's brother Stephen Hibshman graduated from Elko High School and owned Myerstown Beverage.
Chris Hibshman volunteered to be in the Army in 1993. Prior to the military, he worked at gas stations his father owned. Chris says,
I worked at gas stations primarily, the ones my dad owned.
he was very excited to join the military, but his mom was nervous. His dad was fine with it and more proud since Michael had prior experience in the military. Chris joined the 27th Infantry Regiment. The Wolfhounds was the mascot. He was stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia, and Schofield Barracks, Hawaii.
So I did not choose the Wolfhounds. I when I got to my unit in Hawaii, that was just luckily
Then
the unit
Ellie
I got
Daney
placed
asked,
in. So.
What is the electric strawberry symbol about?
The electric strawberry symbol was a unit patch you could wear on your shoulders. It represented the unit's speed while in combat. It was a Terra leader with a lightning bolt in the middle.
Hibshman started to talk about his basic training experience. He had basic training in Fort Benning, Georgia, in the Schofield Barracks. He said,
So it was in the middle of summer. It was pretty hot there. It was quite the experience. You get yelled at a lot. You do a lot of exercises, a lot of physical training. It was looking back, it was kind of scary at first, but after that, you got settled in. You get in shape as you're there, and as you get in better shape, things get easier for you. So that was for my case anyway.
Hibshman had an instructor that stuck out to him named Drill Sergeant Manning. He was 6'9" and he was a giant guy. He would be very intimidating to Hibshman.
Hibshman said that he qualified with M16 rifles. Hibshman also states after specialized training he stayed in Fort Benning, Georgia.
I knew I was prior going to basic. Before I even went to basic, I knew I was going to Hawaii. So after basic training, my training, AIT, Advanced Individual Training, is like specialized training. I went to Hawaii. So I graduated from basic training in early July, and by the end of July of 1993, I was in Hawaii.
In Hawaii, he served in the 25th Infantry Division.
It was, obviously it's a pretty high-speed unit over there, the 25th Infantry Division. That's the division.
The division contains about 12,000 men with 1,000 men in each battalion. Hibshman explained how there was no war going on in his time, so he was very fortunate. He said,
I never went to combat. There was nothing going on really in the 90s.
He was also nervous to go to war, and there was always talk of it with Korea. Korea is a communist country, and Chris would experience their ways on some days in training. He said,
we usually once a year in Hawaii, we got a North Korea handbook that we were supposed to study.
Hibshman used a TOW system, which stood for a tube-launched optically tracked missile.
So it's anti-tank weapon. So I would have been killing tanks on the battlefield. That's what my job was. So we trained pretty extensively doing that.
Also, some experience that stood out to Hibshman was always really unhygienic, being away from civilization for 21 days.
Maybe stinky, so that's kind of funny. You do really learn how far you can push yourself, push the limits. You take pretty much one or two uniforms with you for those 2 weeks, and no shower or anything. So
while serving, he had a tough experience losing one close friend. His name was Michael Bordelon, and it was his first squad leader.
Bordelon, his name was. He was from Louisiana, Cajun guy, kind of really funny dude. He called everybody Hammer, so that was his nickname for everybody. Hammer. If he wanted to do something, he'd call it just Hammer. That's what he said, which was kind of funny.
He enjoyed being around his sergeant leader. Unfortunately, Michael Bordelon was killed in a roadside bombing in an Army vehicle. Of course, it is still hard for Hibshman till this day. It's not easy losing someone you're close to or love.
Hibshman in the past has been rewarded 2 important badges, the Expert Infantry Badge and the Air Assault Wings. The Expert Infantry Badge contained a lot of hard work and training, and so was the Air Assault Wings badge.
So the Expert Infantry Badge is the highest peacetime award that you can get in the infantry. There's roughly probably 30 small tests within the expert infantry testing. I think roughly 10% of the people in it usually pass for the EIB.
He passed all of his tests and in the end had a 12-mile road march that was to be done in 3 hours. But to Hibshman, that was his favorite thing about the test. He said,
So in Hawaii, there's an air assault school there. There's only 2 of those schools in the entire Army.
He later explains that they had missions that would teach them how to fly and control helicopters. Also, they learned how to sling load, which is taking a Humvee under a helicopter so the helicopter can be a mobilizer for the Humvee. Hibshman explains he thought the EIB was more harder than the air assault wing training because of the challenging tasks that are included with the EIB. Hibshman recalls the day service ended. It was April 6th, 1996.
1996, my friend from Richmond, Virginia, and we got on a plane together and flew home.
He didn't get much praise from his community because it wasn't a huge deal for men to be in the military.
Hibshman had to readjust to civilian life after becoming a veteran. Ellie asks,
How did your military service experience affect your life now?
Just discipline. You learn discipline, and that's super important. Just making it through life is being able to be disciplined and understand that not everything needs to happen immediately, because in the Army nothing happens immediately. So everything's kind of you hurry up and wait is the motto in the Army. At pretty much any military branch, I think that's hurry up and wait. So patience, you learn patience, discipline.
he was very fortunate to not go into combat during his training in the Army, but there was always talk. He shares a little bit about his point of view on war.
Nobody wants to go to war, I don't think, but we need to have people that are willing to go to war just to protect, everything that my grandparents worked for. Like, my grandparents were in World War II, so they were, they pretty much saved the world.
When you lived in Japan or Hawaii, did you ever have to talk to people who didn't speak English?
Yeah, in Japan.
He explains that the kids there studied English for years, so they had some clue of what Chris was saying. They knew basic terms like thank you, and he shares a funny moment that the kids did understand what they were saying, but they didn't want to answer them. Hawaii and Japan was more of a socializing event for Hibshman, since during the time there was no war. His division had parties, live bands, and food and drinks. Hibshman often visited Japanese homes for dinner. They ate a lot of traditional dinners like raw fish.
I did not enjoy it. No, I like sushi, but this is like sashimi, like straight raw fish. It wasn't very enjoyable for me.
Chris shared more stories about his training in the Army, and then Mackenzie and Ellie concluded their interview. Chris went through much hard work, and we are very grateful for his time of service. That concluded this narrative.